The question in the nation's capital is, how far will Democrats go in fighting the nomination of Neil Gorsuch to the U.S. Supreme Court? Of course, he, if confirmed, would replace the late Justice Antonin Scalia on the court. A conservative will be replacing another conservative. But the Democratic base is saying they want to see Democrats fight Republicans on this nomination because they are still angry that President Barack Obama was not able to get a confirmation hearing for his choice, Judge Merrick Garland. The question for Democrats, though, how far do they want to push this? Because they could push this so far with the filibuster where the Republicans invoke the nuclear option, lowering the standard of a Supreme Court nominee from 60 votes to a simple majority. It's also a difficult question for upwards of 10 Democratic senators who are going to be up for re-election next year in red states won by Donald Trump. Here is Democratic Minority Leader Senator Chuck Schumer of New York sharing his thoughts on the nomination of Neil Gorsuch.
Senior Senator from the state of Washington, it is with all this in mind that I have come to a decision about the current nominee. After careful deliberation, I have concluded that I cannot support Judge Neil Gorsuch's nomination to the Supreme Court. His nomination will have a cloture vote. He will have to earn 60 votes for confirmation. My vote will be no, and I urge my colleagues to do the same. To my Republican friends who think that if Judge Gorsuch fails to reach 60 votes, we ought to change the rules, I say if this nominee cannot earn 60 votes, a bar met by each of President Obama's nominees and George Bush's last two nominees. The answer isn't to change the rules, it's to change the nominee.
All right, folks, let's get into this right now with our panel. Joining us, Ralph Chittums, who joins us there, Republican. Dr. Julianne Malveaux is also in the House, President Emerita of Bennett College. Also, Avis Jones DeWeaver, leadership strategist, and we'll be, of course, talking with her later in the show with regards to her book, How Exceptional Black Women Lead. And also joining us on the panel here is, who we got? Oh, my goodness, Lil Kappa.
Scott Bolden.
Scott Bolden, Scott Bolden.
The one and
also former head of the D.C. Democratic Party. Yeah. All right, let's get right into it. So the question is this here. The Democratic base is demanding repercussions against the Republicans for refusing to even meet with or hold a hearing for Judge Merrick Garland. Now, critics say, hey, Democrats should not waste the filibuster threat on this nominee. They should wait for the next one. If Justice Anthony Kennedy, who is the swing vote, if he steps down, that means there's going to be a clear hard right majority on the Supreme Court. So the question, Avis, should Democrats go to the mat against Gorsuch, and Republicans could potentially invoke the nuclear option?
You know, this is a very tough dynamic that the Democrats are facing right now. The reality is that this particular nominee is going to swing the court strongly conservative again. People believe that he's even to the right of Scalia, which is very disturbing. However, it's also a very sensitive situation where if we have a simple majority in the future, we might see an overwhelmingly conservative court. So unfortunately, I think that personally, I don't like this nominee, but I'm not sure that this is the particular time to sort of put in jeopardy your future political chess points that you could have on the board. Now is not the time to risk it all. Let's wait a little bit later until the stakes are even higher.
Here's why, Scott, why I think Democrats have to filibuster Gorsuch. Okay, so here's the example people use. They say, okay, hold your powder on this one, wait for the next one. But here's the deal. If you confirm Gorsuch now, that means he replaces a conservative in Scalia. So you still have 5 conservative, 4 liberals, but even though out of the 5, Kennedy is the moderate, if you will. If you have a liberal justice retire, if you or pass away or leave the court, if you have Kennedy leave the court, the Republicans will have so much pressure on them to confirm that justice, even if the Democrats filibuster the next one, you know what the Republicans would do? Simple majority. See,
Yeah.
so if you're Democrats, you can't say, well, we can trust them on that one. No, the pressure would be on every Republican to say, to guarantee a hard right majority on the Supreme Court, they will get rid of that filibuster in a heartbeat. You can't say, we'll wait for the next one.
You got to play now. You got to play for keeps. Nothing to keep dry. You have to fight, fight, fight. And remember, this president is at 36% and dropping. The Republicans are in the middle of a civil war with their own party. They can't even pass Obamacare. The Democrats smell blood. That's when you go in for the kill. You fight now, and you fight the next one until you can bring change and protect your base. Because remember, midterms are coming up, and the judgment will be against the Republicans, not the Democrats. We got nowhere to go but up. Fight now.
I absolutely agree.
Ralph, go ahead.
I actually agree with Avis on this one. You know, back in 2006, Gorsuch was up for confirmation for the 10th Circuit, and he was confirmed, I believe it was unanimously, and in fact, then Senator Obama, then Senator Hillary Clinton, and Chuck Schumer all voted to confirm him. So now all of a sudden,
is very different than the Supreme Court.
Now all of a sudden,
hold on, Julian. Hold on, Julian. Go ahead, Ralph.
A few years later, now you have these same senators saying he's not qualified. So it begs the question, this is nothing but politics.
No, listen.
Hold on. Guys, hold on. Julian, hold on. So here's the deal. Julian, I understand Ralph's point, but let's also remember, Loretta Lynch was confirmed unanimously by the United States Senate, yet they held up her vote when it came to Attorney General. The reality is this here. People always use that argument, well, they were unanimous for another position, but this is for the Supreme Court. Your comment.
Not only that, but Mr. Gorsuch has been supercilious. He has been slippery. He has not answered a question. The few questions that he has answered, well, I don't remember. I mean, if you have that kind of memory problem, you need to be in an old folks' home, not on the Supreme Court. I mean, the Frozen Man case, I mean, this guy is deficient. Yeah. He is deficient, and he's slippery. And that disqualifies him, in my opinion, from being on the court. I think that the Democrats need to filibuster him. I agree with Scott. We need to fight this, because if we don't fight, we come off as the wusses that the Republicans are. And Democrats are not wusses. We may have lost the 2016 election, but we ain't lost the war.
When Ruth Bader Ginsburg was up for confirmation to the Supreme Court, Ruth Bader Ginsburg on more than 70 occasions stated that she could not or would not answer a specific question regarding specific cases and how she may or may not rule.
She answers some questions,
so claiming that Gorsuch shouldn't be confirmed because he would not give specific answers to a specific hypothetical question then begs the question, how come it was okay for Ruth Bader Ginsburg to do so?
Well, here's the deal.
There's so much more than that.
Here's the deal. I don't. Okay, one second. Here's the deal. I don't care about who couldn't answer questions.
Yeah, I don't either.
Here's what I care about. I care about the questions he did answer, and that is he consistently ruled for big business over the little man. And that frozen truck driver case, I simply cannot ignore, where he ruled that the company was in their rights to fire that brother when he was risking his life sitting in that truck. And so I'm sorry. I want a Supreme Court justice who gives a damn about regular, ordinary folks and not just corporate interests. But I do think in this case, to Scott's point, look, I get to say, well, you know, we can play the game and, you know, we'll hold Republicans to their word. I'm telling you right now, and I get your point, Avis, but the pressure will be so great on Republicans to confirm a right-wing justice if Kennedy steps down or one of the liberal judges, that they will get rid of the filibuster in a heartbeat to guarantee for the next 20 to 30 years a right-wing Supreme Court. You can bank on that.
A peaceful protest turned deadly. 37-year-old black man was shot and killed by Baton Rouge police. His hands are in the air, and you still get shot by the cops.
Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
We're not gonna let hate define us.
Race is a big part of this.
If truly all lives matter, then all lives need to matter equally. What we require is action. What we require is accountability. We understand that black lives do matter, and we will keep focused on this issue.
News 1 Now, every weekday morning at 7 on TV 1.